All right, so welcome to Let's Talk Cinema, episode 3 here. Today's episode I am alone, Greg couldn't join me tonight, which is, perfectly fine. We were going to do maybe something a little bit of Christmas special. Of course, tonight's Christmas Eve, I guess for those who celebrate Christmas, if you don't, just another day. But anyways, so it's Christmas Eve. So in that kind of spirit, we're going to do some about Christmas movies and kind of that stuff. But that's okay, because there's still a lot of news, and we're still going to talk about the news anyways, don't get me wrong. So everything should be fine. It probably will be a little bit of a shorter episode for today. I'm thinking maybe 30 minutes, I'm on my own. And also there's not a lot of stuff to report on just from this weekend mainly and this last week. But there are some big things. So the Aladdin, which we're going to focus on in a little bit here. The Men in Black International trailer dropped this week. So we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk a little bit about Angry Birds, the second movie, talk about the voice cast for that so far. And then we'll wrap things up with this story breaking at the box office has now hit a record high in 2018. And we still got 2 weeks more to go, and we've already bested last year and 2016. So some pretty cool stuff here, but yeah, overall, not a lot of news. And of course, right off the top, though, we will start with a box office report, and a lot of things coming in about Aquaman this week. Greg and I talked about this at length last week about Aquaman and some of the other movies coming this week. So it's going to be really great to take a look at the box office. And again, I wish he was here because, we could talk about that. But next week, I'm sure he'll be back, and hopefully we'll be... I'm hoping next week, it'll be New Year's Eve, but I'm hoping next week he'll be back and we can kind of talk more about this, and talk about Mary Poppins and all, and Aquaman especially, right, because that's something we've been talking about a lot, and especially last episode, we talked about that a lot as well. So anyways, appreciate those of you tuning in live right now. Thank you. And appreciate those of you tuning in afterwards. As always, following along live, leave a comment in the chat or a question, your thoughts. Really appreciate that. And then also, if you're watching afterwards, leave a comment, leave a question or something like that. And, I'll definitely, Greg and I will try to answer that in next episode for sure. So that should all be good. So anyways, everything's looking good with the live episode here. It seems as though everything is looking okay. Yep. Okay. So, without further ado then, let's get into the box office report as we do every episode here of Let's Talk Cinema. So, I'd just like to start this off. Basically, I show, the box office numbers, and then we discuss a little bit of it just to get off the bat here, and then we'll go into the news, like I already mentioned. So, here we go. So here are the weekend box office numbers from, of course, this weekend from Friday to Sunday, for Friday to yesterday. So here are the numbers for this weekend's box office. So as always, provided to us by Box Office Mojo. They do a great job with all this stuff. So, all right, so here is the weekend box office. I got the top 6 performers here. Number 7, I believe that just was out of this, was The Second Act, the comedy with Jennifer Lopez, that was out this weekend, and that didn't quite make the cut. But at number 1, no surprise to basically any movie fan out there, is Aquaman. So Aquaman takes in 67.4 million this weekend at the box office. So, and I do have a little bit more about Aquaman to talk about. So their total is actually closer to about 71 million or 72 million, I believe. But this number, of course, is just strictly the box office. That number is also with the Amazon stuff. And so I don't know what to quite think of this. Again, we'll talk more about it, I guess. So there we go. Number 2 is Mary Poppins Returns, which again, not a big surprise. Although this number, to me at least, is a surprise. Mary Poppins making 23,523,121 dollars. So $23.5 million only in this opening weekend for Mary Poppins. At least that's the way I see it. Number 3 is Bumblebee, opening to $21,610,000. Pretty favorable opening there for Bumblebee. especially given the last few Transformers movies. I think a lot of people could attest to that, right? And that number pretty much makes sense, or if anything, it's kind of impressive. So there you go. Number 4 is Spider-Man of the Spider-Verse. This was, of course, last week's number 1, and they fall to number 4, actually. They kind of fall victim to the 3 new movies this weekend, and so they still pull in those 16.6 million at the box office this weekend. Then 5th, which was second last week, is The Mule, coming in at 9.7 million. This weekend for number 5, and then third last week was The Grinch, and they pull in another 8.5 million this weekend, and that film has just been doing crazy good. And Greg and I talked about this too, but you know what? Looking back at the Grinch was so smart to open in November, as they really captured a lot of viewers from there. So, anyway, so those are the box office numbers for this weekend. Of course, those are the top 6. I believe up until about the 8 spot, I think everyone is pretty close in there. I would say from about 6 to 8. Ralph Breaks the Internet, I think, was 7th place, or no, it was 8th place this weekend, which is a bit surprising to me, but I think overall the Grinch has now outperformed Ralph. I think that's just kind of a, for sure thing right now. But anyway, so a few extra things then to go along with these weekend box office numbers is Aquaman performed almost exactly as expected with an estimated 67.4 million over the course of the 3-day weekend opening, and of course that now stands at 72.1 million once you include the 4.7 million in that pre-weekend Amazon Prime pre-screening thing there, right? So yes, the box office numbers are 67.4, but technically, and Aquaman, Warner Brothers, they are adding that in, so they are at 72 million, which would be more accurate, right? So, as Box Office Mojo says, the film is now expected to deliver around 105 million over the course of its first 5 days. Pretty crazy stuff there, right? So they didn't reach 100 million in the weekend, but they are predicting over the next couple days here, that number will climb to 105 million. So pretty crazy stuff. Aquaman now joins the list of the top 10 December openings of all time, and it is the 6th largest DC Extended Universe film so far. Sorry, the debut is the 6th largest so far. So I'm not sure exactly how that ranking goes 1 to 5, but they are number 6 right now. I believe Wonder Woman is right at the top, if they are not first, but they're definitely up there. And top 10 December openings of all time, that's pretty impressive. That is pretty impressive. So there you go. Then quickly, Aquaman is the number 1 release at the global box office. And Greg and I were talking a lot about this last week. And so they're at the global box for the 3rd week in a row, bringing in another 91 million overseas this weekend. Crazy stuff for an international cume that now stands at 410 million. Really crazy stuff. So, and then add the domestic, and a global tally now totaling 482 million. So they just opened domestically, right? They just opened domestically. They've been open for 3 days now, or 4, whatever, if you want to count Thursday, and they have already made 482 million. Now, how much more are they going to make in the foreign box office? And this is a conversation that Greg and I had, and he seemed to think there's not that much more money to be made overseas. And I would have to agree. I think a lot of that, of course, 410 million of that is overseas, but again, it just opened this weekend domestically, but we'll have to see. I mean, Greg and I tackled the question last week of, will Aquaman make 1 billion? It's not looking like that will be a reality. Not that either of us really thought it would be, originally, but it really isn't looking like that because of, I don't want to get this wrong. The success of the foreign box office has been crazy, but I don't think there's that much left in the tank, if you know what I mean. And so I think a lot of this is now going to have to be carried domestically, and I don't know if they will get, I don't think they now will get to 1 billion. I could see them reaching 800 million, though. I think Greg and I both agreed that it will get close to Wonder Woman, though it will not top Wonder Woman's box office, which was about 840, I believe, was their box office. But anyways, we talked about that last week, too. So Anyways, some really interesting stuff here. To be honest, I thought the opening for Aquaman would be higher. I thought it would at least be 75 or 80. Technically, I guess it is 72, so I wasn't too far off. But again, they're still predicting that it'll be at 105 by the end, or by Christmas, I guess. And so, yeah, we'll have to see if that ends up, being in the reality. And we'll have to see. But anyways, so this one's interesting too. Barely finding its way into the top 10 this weekend was the release of Robert Zemeckis' Welcome to Marwen, and it was pretty much a disaster as the $39 million production scored a mere $2.35 million in its first 3 days of opening. This one's tough because Greg and I talked about this. I thought this movie was actually going to be quite good. It looked quite good from the trailers. It looked like a very unique movie. Greg put it a good way last week. A very unique movie. Steve Carell, great, right? He's been in some great roles. Beautiful Boy in particular, just recently been in some great dramatic roles. And I really had faith in this one, but the ratings are not good. I believe it's at a 25% on Rotten Tomatoes now. And yeah, 2.35 for the opening weekend for Welcome to Marwen. Now, did we think it was going to rival Aquaman? No chance. But I think we all thought it may make more than 2.35. And especially comparing then to The Mule. Now, I'm not saying you compare the two. Clint Eastwood, Robert Zemeckis, different, obviously. But comparing it to The Mule, which is, not a superhero movie, kind of a drama, same type of genre as Welcome to Marwen, I thought for sure they'd probably get at least 5 million, something like that. But this opening is very disappointing, especially given that that production of 39 million, of course, with all that visual effects and all that stuff, with the little figurines and all that throughout the movie would cost a lot, and it looks like they might lose some money with this one, which is unfortunate. I think I still want to go and watch it and make an opinion for myself, but we'll have to see. It's not looking very good. And then, of course, Mary Poppins opening. Little bit disappointing in my eyes. I was expecting a much bigger opening than that. But as Box Office Mojo is saying, maybe that is expected due to the other movies that are coming out, especially like Aquaman and Bumblebee, who, I mean, let's be honest, if they didn't open this weekend, Mary Poppins would have had it probably at least in a $50 million opening. And that's just the reality. So, anyways, or at least, I guess that's my opinion, but I'm sure that most of us can agree they'd be close to 50 million at least. So anyways, that's what that is. So the total gross so far, just to wrap things up here for the box office. So Aquaman, of course, they open this weekend, so they are at 72.7 million. Mary Poppins is 32.3, so 32.3 million there. Bumblebee, of course, just opened as well, 21.6 million. Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse is now at 64,735,000. The Mule is at 35,430,000. And The Grinch, this one is big. I think this is their 4th week open now, and they have now gotten 253.5, almost 253.6 million now at the box office, which is, again, I applaud them for opening in November because it looks like it really paid off for them. It really does. So, anyways, guys, that'll just about do it for the box office report then to kick things off here. Let me know what you think of this. Was Mary Poppins disappointing to you? That's something maybe I would love to ask Greg that, see his thoughts. I think we can all agree that it was a little bit disappointing. But again, given the other movies out there and the options right now at theaters, I mean, it's just crazy. But again, I think it's worth noting that people are picking those other ones over Mary Poppins. Yes, hearing great things about Mary Poppins, but also some negative things. I think it's kind of a mixed review at this point, and we'll have to see. I'm not sure if I'll see it in theaters, but yeah, I don't know. I'm not a huge fan of the original one, but Emily Blunt looks amazing in all the trailers, Lin-Manuel Miranda, I think that's how you say his name, he is great as well. So, maybe it's worth checking out then, but maybe not in theaters for me. But anyways, so I'll just about do for the box office. Again, love to hear your guys' thoughts. Aquaman 2, what do you think of that one? Were you expecting more? Kind of similar to what I was. But anyways, so there you go. All right. So now let's get on to the news topics of today's episode. And like I said, I went over them. Oh, yeah, and they are posted in the description of these episodes before we start here. So, if you want to look in the future there, when the episodes are posted, then you know what we're talking about for sure. So, the first thing here is the Men in Black International trailer. So, this trailer was released on Thursday, and it got a lot of people talking. A lot of people love Men in Black, me included. Love the original thing. Will Smith, Tommy Lee Jones, just kind of a classic, right? And this is a big theme right now. They're remaking all these classics. I talk about the Disney, live action remakes. We're talking about one next with Aladdin, and Lion King and all those. But, maybe something similar to this, the Ghostbusters, kind of the female version. I'm not, familiar with the exact name. Was it just called the Ghostbusters again? But anyway, so the kind of the female version, Leslie Jones, I believe Melissa McCarthy was in that one. And so you see this kind of theme right now, and they're kind of remaking these classic stories, and giving them kind of a refurbishing, if you will, or kind of, just kind of touching them up a little bit with kind of newer themes and stuff like that. So this one is definitely going with that same theme, right? And so anyways, the release date now for this one that we got in this trailer now is June 14th, 2019. And this is just another movie added onto the list of summer 2019. I mean, Greg and I talked alone about 3 movies that we'd love to see next summer in 2019, just from last week's episode that we had news about. So, just so many movies piling up now for the summer. But anyway, it's great. I'm just saying there's a ton of movies. But anyways, so this one's starring Rebecca Ferguson, Tessa Thompson, and Chris Hemsworth. So, but you know what? I didn't really recognize Rebecca Ferguson in the trailer, which I don't know if I just missed her, maybe I did, but I don't think there was a big focus on her, and she is listed as kind of the top billed cast member, so we'll have to see how much of a role she has. But anyways, so that's the cast, or the stars, and then it's also directed by F. Gary Gray, who directed Straight Outta Compton as well, and so he's got a couple films under his belt for sure, yeah, I mean, with this cast, right, with Tessa Thompson, Chris Hemsworth, the director, F. Gary Gray. It's a little funny reading it, right? Because it's Gary Gray. It kind of looks the same. But anyways, just a couple letters moved around there. But anyway, so, you have some faith in this one. Tessa Thompson, really love her as an actress in Westworld. Really great stuff. Westworld Season 2. Her character was really, really great in that, especially in the first few episodes of Westworld Season 2. Chris Hemsworth, probably the most recent thing I've seen him in is Bad Times at the El Royale. Greg and I really both enjoyed that one, and Chris Hemsworth's character in that movie, pretty out there, but he played it really well. And Rebecca Ferguson is great too. She is awesome. And she was in The Greatest Showman, I believe. And was she in, I'm trying to think now, was she in Interstellar or Life or one of those space movies? I think I might be wrong, but anyways, and so you have some faith going in. You're like, okay, these are pretty good names, at least for me. The director seems to have a few movies under his belt. He seems experienced, and you see this trailer and it's like, I don't know. I don't know if I still have faith. Anyway, the synopsis quickly is the Men in Black have always protected the Earth from the scum of the universe. In this new adventure, they tackle their biggest, most global threat to date, a mole in the Men in Black organization. So that's the whole theme of this movie. So my thoughts of the trailer, real quickly. Just initial thoughts, it was a lackluster trailer. I just really wasn't impressed. They tried to come out with kind of the big action sequences and the pops, all that kind of stuff that they do in a trailer like this. And the quick jokes and stuff. A couple things worked for me, but a lot of it didn't. Honestly, it kind of looked like a lackluster trailer for ultimately a lackluster movie. That's just what it looks like to me. Again, I still have faith in it, though, even after this trailer, to see, again, like Tessa Thompson, Chris Hemsworth, Rebecca Ferguson, they're all great. And so, to see, and I guess Tessa Thompson is the lead of the movie, right? I think she's kind of like the main focus now, especially with the reinvention of the story of Men in Black. I think she's now the focus. And so, you know, great to see, but this trailer really doesn't do it for me. And a lot of other people, I think, left feeling the same way. So, I saw in the trailer they're keeping some things authentic to the original, right? The pen wiping the memory. I believe one of those aliens that we see in the little trailer sequence there is that same one from the original, or at least Men in Black number 3, you know, where he's walking away in the one scene. I think that's identical. So they're keeping some things authentic, right? But I think a lot of people are saying, where's Will Smith and Tommy Lee Jones, right? If you're going to make a remake, we got to see the original people. So we did not see them in the trailer. Will we see them in the film? I don't know. At least I don't know. I mean, they might have confirmed that and said that that's not happening. Maybe. But I haven't heard that yet. So I don't know if we will see them in the film or not. I'm probably leaning to no, because it is, again, titled Men in Black International, and it is a bit of a remake, so maybe they're trying to distance themselves from that. But then my main gripe with it is, why are you including all these things that are authentic to the original then, right? If you want to reinvent another kind of story, you know, kind of separate from that. So that would be my gripe with it. I didn't quite understand that throughout the trailer. But anyways, yeah, so maybe they're just on the trailer. Maybe they will make a little bit of a cameo, you know, in this movie. And that would be great to see. You know, it would be. So anyways, ultimately, I mean, it's tough. With these remakes, I mean, some of them end up being good. I mean, some of them give us some nostalgic moments. You know, they relate to it. But just like kind of that Ghostbusters remake, it didn't turn out well. I mean, or at least a lot of, you know, critics-wise and ratings-wise, it didn't turn out too well. And I'm kind of worried about this one too. And Men in Black, I love the original series, like I said, off the top. So this is going to be tough to see if it doesn't do well. Although I am okay because it's named Men in Black International and they're kind of rebranding it. It's not like they're just doing a Men in Black 4 and it's going to end up being bad and it's going to affect the series. I think still it's kind of at least a standalone, at least in that fact, where it won't affect this original series. And hopefully, but we'll have to see. It might end up being a really good movie. We don't know. You know, it is just the trailer. But to me, I really didn't. You know, let's say the trailer was entertaining, right? It was a little entertaining at times. But I just felt like it was a lackluster trailer. It just wasn't, you know, very impressive, and it just doesn't look like that, you know, that good of a movie. But anyways, we'll have to see. June of 2019, June 14th of 2019, movie comes out, and yeah, I'll probably go see it again, just because of the names attached to it. I have some faith in it. Even after this trailer, I have some faith in it, and so we'll have to see how it does. Alright, so those are my thoughts on the trailer. I assume that a lot of people have seen the trailer, so if you have, let me know your thoughts on it, and let me know your thoughts of, you know, how it looks and everything like that. You know, love to hear your guys' thoughts. Alright, so now let's get to the main kind of topic here, which is the first Aladdin images released by Disney. So I believe this was Thursday as well, and so this article is from Collider. So basically, I have the images up. I assume that a lot of people have probably already seen these images. But anyway, so here are the images that were released. Of course, these were released with Entertainment Weekly, so that's why you have the First Look little brand on there on the pictures. So, really great stuff, right? So, obviously, I think the main one that caught a lot of people's attention was the bottom one, right? With Will Smith as the genie. That was a big one that a lot of people were looking forward to seeing. And we definitely get to see that here. And then the top left, we have Jasmine and Aladdin, of course, you know, kind of walking down in that village thing there. And it looks pretty good. You know, costumes look pretty good as of now. Just kind of a first look, you know, thought there. I think they look pretty good. And then also, I believe that's Jasmine in the top right. Yeah, I think it is. In the top right there, walking down the steps. And that looks like a really nice costume as well. in that picture. So anyways, but yeah, the genie one was definitely something that got a lot of buzz this week, and a lot of people's, you know, kind of main focus here with these pictures released. But anyways, this is cool because the teaser slash trailer we got didn't really show us anything, right? And so now we get these pictures, and at least we get to see a little bit about, you know, what it's all about. So yeah, so anyway, so those are the pictures. Of course, you know, I believe there was 8 pictures released, so you can take a look if you haven't seen those, for sure. Anyways, so Collider says Disney has now released some images from their upcoming movie, directed by Guy Ritchie, which does more to introduce us to the characters that populate this magical world. Yeah, so in the 8 new images via Entertainment Weekly, we see stars Mena Massoud as the street rat with the heart of gold, Aladdin, Naomi Scott as the beautiful and determined Princess Jasmine, and, of course, Will Smith in the iconic role of Genie. Aladdin opens May 24th, 2019. So, again, another damn summer 2019 movie. Well, yeah, I guess you can count May. Yeah, I guess you can count that as summer, but a little bit earlier. But anyways, so yeah, really great stuff here. Great to see that these images have been released now, and Disney's kind of teasing us a little bit here, giving us a little bit of a look at what the movie will look like, at the costumes. I think a couple people had a little bit, or had a problem with these costumes. I don't know. It's been a while since I've seen the original, to be honest. I do like it. I don't think it's, you know, my favorite, you know, Disney animated film. I think Lion King would ultimately be up there for me. Maybe that would be my favorite. I don't know. I haven't really thought about it a lot. Maybe with these live action remakes, I will think about that some more. But anyways, it's been a while, so maybe I'm not the best person to compare costumes and all that stuff. But to me, it looks pretty good. Just for visually pleasing, I think it looks good. Whether it matches, you know, that exact costume from the original movie that Aladdin was wearing in this scene, I'm not sure. I'm not totally sure. But just from a visually pleasing aspect, I think they look pretty damn good. And the environment and the world also looks very good, playing on that, you know, magical aspect of the story, of course. And I think in that fact, it looks good. Again, so we'll have to see. I'm guessing a longer, more detailed, showing us more trailer will be coming soon, maybe in the new year, probably, well, only 6 more days, but probably sometime in the new year, maybe January or February, we'll see a little bit more of a detailed trailer here for Aladdin, but definitely something to look forward to in 2019. I know it's on a lot of people's most anticipated list, for next year, and definitely for me. I you know, definitely want to see it. And Will Smith as the Genie is going to be great. Of course, Robin Williams, the original Genie, and it's going to be cool to see Will Smith try to, you know, pull it off. And I think he can. I think he definitely can pull it off. But yeah, it's just going to be pretty interesting stuff. So anyways, everything coming out of this looks pretty damn good to me. And especially this cast too: Naomi Scott, Mena Massoud, and Will Smith. Great 3 people to lead it, right? 3 actors and actors to lead it. But you know, just from the offset here with the visuals and a little bit of a teaser we got too. That was kind of cool to hype us up a little bit. So yeah, I'm looking forward to Aladdin, and let me know what you guys think of these images. And if you've seen some of the other ones too, there's one with the monkey, and there's also one with Jafar. And so those ones are pretty cool too. I just didn't have enough room to put them all on the screen there. But anyways, let me know what you think of that one. Alright, so on to the next one now, and this one is about Angry Birds 2 voice cast and Nicki Minaj. Who knew we would be talking about Nicki Minaj on Let's Talk Cinema, but here we go. So Nicki Minaj joins Angry Birds Movie 2 voice cast. So this one's from Variety. Nicki Minaj has joined the Angry Birds Movie 2, Variety has learned. The Sony Animation sequel hits theaters on August 16th of 2019. Another summer movie. Now this is an amazing list. So Jason Sudeikis, Josh Gad, Bill Hader, Danny McBride, and Peter Dinklage will all reprise their roles from the first film. And now they're joined by Leslie Jones, Rachel Bloom, Awkwafina, Sterling K. Brown, Eugenio Derbez, Lil Rel Howery, I think, Dave Cameron, and Zach Woods. Minaj's role is currently unknown, so of course she is then also in that list. The release date for Angry Birds Movie 2 coincides with the 10th anniversary of the hit video game. The Angry Birds games have been downloaded more than 4 billion times. Wow, that is crazy. Angry Birds grossed $350 million worldwide, including $107.5 million domestically in 2016. So that was the original Angry Birds movie. So, anyways, this voice cast is insane. I mean, just like, even you just get 2 of those names out of the 10, it would be a great voice cast. But with all of these names attached, you know what, it sounds awesome. I have not seen the first Angry Birds, but of course I'm very familiar with the game. Big game on my phone, I know that for sure, and a lot of people were also involved in that. I don't even play it anymore. I didn't know people still played it, and I didn't even know that people, that they're still making a second movie. I did not hear about that, so this is kind of news to me, but like I said, with a voice cast like this, I don't think you can go wrong. Interested to bring on Nicki Minaj. I'm wondering how much of this is they want her voice, or they want, popularity and, kind of the attention of that her name brings with it. I don't know. It could be some of both, to be honest, and I'm not sure how much of a role she'll have, too. I mean, it could just be a small role, voicing, in one scene or something like that, right? But anyways, sounds pretty interesting. Angry Birds Movie 2. If you've seen the first one, let me know what you thought of it. It sounds like it did pretty damn well at the box office, domestically, and, a global box office of $350 million. So, that's nothing, that's nothing to skim over. And yeah, so anyways, let me know if you're looking forward to the second movie coming in the summer of 2019, and what you thought of the first one, and all that stuff. But I'll have to probably check out the first one. I might see the second one. I don't know, but like I said, there's so many summer 2019 movies right now, I swear. There's just too many for theaters to even play. But anyways, so we'll have to see that one too. All right, so to end things off here with the news, this one is actually, I think, just broke today, a little bit earlier, and it is the domestic box office hits a new record high in 2018. And so this one is from Collider, and of course, everybody reporting this one, including Variety. So Variety reports that the domestic box office has now hit a new high by reaching 383 billion with over a week to go left in the year. The previous record of 11.382 billion was set in 2016. 5 of the top 10 biggest domestic releases belong to Disney this year, with owning Black Panther, Avengers Infinity War, Incredibles 2, Ant-Man and the Wasp, and Solo, A Star Wars Story. So, crazy stuff. And then you look towards, will 2019 even top this record? And then you also look at the films that Disney has in 2019. It's crazy. I mean, I think they have Dumbo, Lion King, Avengers Endgame, the 4th Avengers movie. What else? Lion King. Did I say that? Lion King. Aladdin, right? So you look at all these movies that Disney has next year, and it'd be hard to say right now, at least, that they won't have, again, 5 of the top 10 or probably even more next year at the box office. It's crazy how well Disney is doing, especially with these remakes. You look at this, Incredibles 2, right? A kind of a remake, a reboot of sorts, and then Avengers Infinity War, obviously the 3rd one in the series. And Ant-Man and the Wasp, a follow-up to the original Ant-Man. So Disney's doing well. They had a hell of a year, and you know what? Looking towards 2019, they might even have a better year next year, which is, insane. But anyways, just Avengers for itself, that might be $1 billion movie, right? Like, it's hard to tell. But anyways, and I believe the Star Wars movie is coming out too. I'm not up to date with Star Wars, but, so don't go too hard on me there. But anyways, the Star Wars movie is coming out as well, so I don't know. I don't know. 2019 might even be a better year for them. And in terms of will 2019 even top this record now set, I think it might. I honestly think it might. I mean, you know, we topped 2016 now this year with already, you know, it's still a week left in the year. We've already topped that. And like I said, you look at the forecast for 2019 of movies coming out, it's hard to say right now that it will at least be close. Like that you know, I think 2019 will at least be close to this record, if not top it. Just as of right now, just looking, right, of course, we have no idea, but just looking at the movies that are out and the titles and the names attached to those movies, it's hard to believe that it won't come at least close. But anyway, so I'll have to see. But that is a very cool thing. I'm wondering, I'm kind of surprised that 2017 didn't hold the record. And you know, some good ones in 2017, but I think 2018, ultimately, if you look back and you look at some of the biggest movies this year, you know, and compare that to 2017, I think obviously the answer is pretty clear. It's that a lot of big movies came out this year, and a lot of great ones, you know, like Avengers Infinity War, Incredibles 2, and all those. So, yeah, really great stuff here for 2018. Hits a new record high at the box office, or at the domestic box office. That is worth saying. It's not the, you know, global, it's just the domestic box office. And, you know, crazy stuff here, by the way, too. $11 billion at the domestic box office this year. Incredible. Like, just incredible. $11 billion. That is crazy. So many movie fans out there going to see their, you know, their favorite movies. It's crazy. And, you know, obviously more than once, too. A lot of people go to theaters more than once to see a movie. So, like, to see the same movie I'm talking about. Like, you know, that's how far it goes. But anyways, guys, that will just about do it for all the news this week. Yeah, let me know what you think of that one. And let me know what you think 2019 will have in store for Disney, but also just the box office in general, and if that now will set a new record, you know, compared to this year even. All right. So, to end things off, well, not quite, but to get to the end of this episode here, as we always do, we like to highlight a film of the week. So, Greg and I always try to find you know, time to see at least one film each week. Last week, Greg saw Spider-Man and the Spider-Verse. He gave his review and we discussed a little bit about it. It is, you know, obviously from last episode. And then also there's a little bit of a highlight video there where he gives his review. So if you want to check that out for sure, you know, please do. And then also I saw Mowgli, you know, the week before. But this week I got to see The Grinch, a little late, I know, about 3 weeks late. But anyways, so yeah, we just usually talk about this film then that we saw, give our quick thoughts. And, you know, I think just as a movie, The Grinch, I think it's good. I mean, I think it's entertaining. It definitely has that charm to it that the original did have. You know, of course, a classic story, right? A classic Christmas story, The Grinch. And it has that charm. It's just, I really found it, you know, hard at times because it kind of goes back to what I was talking about the Men in Black trailer as well, is that at times this movie, you could tell that it wanted to kind of reinvent the Grinch, right? And they were doing a bunch of new things, especially with the music choice. At least I didn't hear throughout the whole movie the original Grinch song, right? Mr. Grinch, that song, and it just wasn't in the movie. A lot of the other stuff wasn't in the movie. A lot of the rhyming throughout was different, right? And so they did a lot of things to reinvent the movie. But then they did a bunch of things from the original movie and tried to kind of, you know, do a mold of both in at the same time. And to me, that didn't really work. And I think that was maybe the biggest negative of the movie. Especially one of the biggest things for me was, you know, his heart grew 3 sizes that day. And, you know, that iconic line from the original. It just felt forced into this new one that they were trying to make new, right? But they kept returning back to the original storylines in these, you know, moments, right, to get the audience back and like, oh, that's from the original, but it just didn't work with the way they were doing it. And I really, you know, expected a little bit more nostalgia and more stuff from the original that we didn't get. But you know, great performance by Benedict Cumberbatch. And Kenan Thompson is great in his role. Not a big one, but he's you know, definitely probably the comedic relief you know, in the movie. There's a lot of comedy, but, you know, he was really good as well, Kenan Thompson. Kind of playing what he typically does, only in animation form, which was great. The animation, by the way, was really great. I think, you know, visually, it really did look good. And it did give a nice, like I said, it gave a nice, you know, new feel to the Grinch. But like I said, I think they kind of struggled with mixing in the old with the new, and it just kind of, I don't know, it didn't quite, you know, all come together, I think, the way they wanted it to. And that would be probably my main negative with it. But at the end of the day, it is enjoyable. Now they've made like $250 million at the box office, so it has been a pretty good performance for the Grinch. And, well, you know what? I mean, you know, the movie could be really bad, and it would still get a lot of people out just because of the name and the story, and how iconic it is to a lot of people. And yeah, and that's what the Grinch is. I think you're definitely gonna enjoy it, but I think if you're looking for, you know, something that's gonna, you know, pay some homage to the original and you know, basically just be a new, refreshed form of the original, you're not gonna get that here. I think a lot of it is trying to be, you know, ultimately new, right? That's what they were trying to do. And to me, it just didn't seem, it kind of seemed out of place. So anyways, oh, and also Pharrell Williams, great narration throughout, but again, that narration, you know, didn't align with the original, and it just, again, felt kind of out of place. But anyways, that's just my quick thoughts of the Grinch movie, Dr. Seuss's The Grinch. And again, sorry I'm a little late on this one. I wanted to see it earlier, but it is what it is. So anyways, if you guys seen The Grinch, please let me know your thoughts. Alright, so now to end off the episode here for this week, on Christmas Eve here, I thought it was only fitting. So the question of the week here, which I would have loved to hear Greg's thought on this one too, but anyways, question of the week here is, what is your favorite Christmas movie of all time? So, love to hear your guys' thoughts on this one. Know a lot of, you know, popular picks, probably Die Hard, Home Alone, for a lot of people. I think those two are pretty big ones. And then you always get the debate of Die Hard. Well, is it a Christmas movie and all that stuff? So I'm not gonna get into that. Don't worry. But anyway, so love to hear your guys' thoughts on this one. To me, my answer to this question is National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation. Favorite Christmas movie, I would say. A few other ones are kind of maybe close to it, but that is definitely my number one for various reasons. You know, I don't think I have to go over them. You know, Chevy Chase. Awesome performance. But anyways, yeah. So, really great movie there. I don't know if you haven't seen it, I guess check it out. I assume almost everyone has by now. But it is a great one. So, anyways, yeah. Let me know what your guys' favorite Christmas movie of all time is. Love to hear your thoughts, especially you know, with the timing of this episode, great to see, and Christmas is tomorrow. So anyways, guys, yeah, that'll just about do it for this one. Again, Greg should be back. You know, we will be back next week. I think it is New Year's Eve, so I'm not totally sure, but I think we should be back for next week, or at least I should be back. And hopefully we'll talk more about Aquaman and more about the box office this week. And next week, I mean, we got Vice coming on Christmas Day, Holmes and Watson coming on Christmas Day, a couple other ones out there too, a couple smaller ones that are coming out. So it's going to be kind of a busy Christmas week here at the box office. A lot of movies in theaters, so great time to go to theaters, right? For pretty much everyone. I mean, there's something out there for everyone at the theaters right now. So anyways, guys, yeah, that'll just about do it. Thank you so much for watching this episode of Let's Talk Cinema. And yeah, thank you for those of you who tuned in live. I do really appreciate it. Christmas Eve night here, and really great. So anyways, happy holidays, guys, of course. Merry Christmas if you do celebrate on with Christmas. For sure, but happy holidays. You know, great season here right now, and yeah, like I said, great season for movies as well. So yeah, really great stuff. All right, guys, thank you so much for watching Let's Talk Cinema this week, and yeah, we'll see you next week. Hopefully on Monday. Episode may be moved, to be honest. Maybe we'll do a Sunday episode next week. But anyways, we shall be back for next episode, episode 4 of Let's Talk Cinema. But anyways, guys, once again, thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you in the next episode. Thanks, guys.